Hey, what's happening, peeps? What's going on? What's going on? This is Carlton Lewis, aka Mellow Melanin, aka Mega Businessman, coming to you live and direct from Hartsfield Jackson Atlanta International Airport. Hey, what's happening, y'all? I'm pretty pumped up. I just got through listening to Superman Lover by Johnny Guitar Watson. And if you are a music aficionado like I am and you appreciate live music, then you would definitely love checking this out. Hey Netta, what's happening? I got your message. I'll hit you back in just a few minutes. Today I want to talk to you guys about the 5 levels of leadership, and this comes from the book by John Maxwell called Developing the Leader Within You. And it's a really good book, number one. But when he breaks down these levels of leadership, maybe you'll be able to see yourself in them if you're already in a leadership position, or if you want to develop yourself into a leader. It'll give you an idea of what you should be striving for. All right, so I'm gonna read these things off of my tablet. All right, I have no shame in my game about telling people that I read notes, but I wanted to share this with you guys because I've been stuck at the first level before. I've been through probably like 4 of the levels. I'm not at the 5th level yet. So I'm going to go over these real quick. So you definitely want to make sure you have a paper and pen handy. Anytime I come on live, if you see something live with me, you definitely want to make sure you have a pencil, paper to take notes. So the first level is called position. And the first level is influence based on rights. And this is when you've been given a title, but you haven't earned that respect yet. So it's like when when you have a position, right, and your coworkers, you tell them to do something, and the only reason they do it because they don't want to lose their job. I've been in that position before where the only way I was able to get that type of cooperation was because of the position that I was in. And that's okay, but that's the lowest level. And he says in here, what you want to do if you're in this level, or you're seeking to just become a leader. This is stage 1. Know your role or job description thoroughly. Do your job with consistent excellence. Do more than expected. Accept responsibility for yourself and your leadership. Learn from every leadership opportunity. Be aware of the history that impacts personal dynamics, and don't rely on your position or title to help you lead. All right, that's really good advice. Level 2 is permission. This is when your peers have given you basically got permission to lead, and it's influence based on relationships. All right, and what he says here is, to get to this level, you want to value the other person. Learn to see through the other person's eyes by asking questions. Care more about the person than about the rules. That's a really big deal, and I'm going to talk to you guys about that. I remember I used to be a dispatcher for a tow truck company, right? And one of my buddies, he had a son that he used to have to go pick up, and we worked long hours. So, I was basically the supervisor, without having the name supervisor attached to it. I was the lead person. I was a dispatcher. I was the head dispatcher. And, in my first months in that position, I was wanting everybody to follow the rules. I was doing everything by the rules. So I was in position, right? I had the position leadership, level 1. And I asked one of my friends, a guy who I'd known before I taking this position, to go do something for me, to do a trip for me. And he pulled me to the side. He said, "Hey man, I don't mind doing this, man." He said, "But I have to go pick up my son." And at that moment, I had to forget about the rules, and I started looking at things on a case-by-case basis with different people. There are some people who would be willing to work the extra time, but other people who wouldn't be too happy about working that extra time because they had other obligations. So I had to really start putting that human element in there, and not so much care about the rules. He says here to include the other person in your journey by shifting your focus from me to we. I'm really good at that, about being, I'm definitely a we person. And make the other person's success your goal, and practice servant leadership. Okay, so the next level is level 3, production. And that's influence based on results. Influence based on results. It's like, if you can, it's like, let's see here. Let me give you a great example of this. So, like, I know how to generate leads, right, for my business. So, you know, I know how to do Facebook Lives for my business. I know how to blog. So I know how to get results based on these things that I already know how to do, right? So it says here, initiate and accept responsibility for your own personal growth. Very big on personal growth, right? Develop accountability for results, beginning with yourself. Lead by example and produce results. Help and leading by example. This is not just you just barking orders at people. You're out there in the trenches with people and you're doing it to help them get results. Help the other person find and give his or her best contribution. All right. So you're helping people get these results. And level 4, this is the level that you really should strive to, right? You know, level 2, 3, and 4 are like, you kind of want to go back and forth between these different levels. It says level 4, people development. Influence based on reproduction. All right. Influence based on reproduction. And I'll go back to that scenario where I was the dispatcher, right, in my last job, my last full-time job. I wanted to have my system, my operation so good that if I left for anything, if I left for an hour or two or whatever, then the person who was my second in command, they didn't have any problems knowing what to do, and they ran the business as just as good or even better as if I was there. All right. So that's reproduction, you know, being able to duplicate yourself. And so in here, he says to get to that level, you want to embrace the idea that people are your most valuable assets. Be open and honest about your growth journey. Expose the other person to growth and leadership opportunities. Place the person in the best place to be successful. It's really good, powerful stuff. So that means you got to trust your people. You got to trust your people. All right. She said, Ebony says, I'd love to learn how to blog. I have a lot to say. Well, you know, you just basically start doing it. If you want some more information on blogging, I'll inbox you, Ebony. The course that I took was pretty good about blogging, and you know, and you can learn on your own. There's nothing wrong with learning on your own. I actually started blogging about 2002 when there was just really like a few blogging sites. Blogger.com was new. So I learned, you know, from then, and then Google bought Blogger.com, WordPress came along, and, you know, I've been blogging since then. Number 5, level 5, pinnacle. And this is influence based on respect. These are when you see your top leaders in your organizations, you know, your Eric Warrays, your Les Browns, people like Diane Hockman, Ray Higman, Brian Finale. I can name a whole bunch of people. Grant Cardone. These people have influence based on respect. So what it says to get to this level, it says focus your influence on the most promising 20% of the people you lead. And I've heard, you know, a lot of leaders say that they only work with the top 20% of their team. You know, they don't work with everybody that's on their team. They work with the top 20% of people. I heard Brandon Boyd say this all the time. It says, teach and encourage them to develop other high-level leaders. So you teach them how to develop leaders. Teaching them how to develop leaders. Leverage your influence to advance the organization. And use your influence outside the organization to make a difference. That's very powerful. Using your influence outside of the organization to make a difference. So those are the 5 levels of leadership. You know, look at that list and figure out where you are. You know, I'm definitely going between levels 2 through level 4 on a daily basis. And I know that me being, you know, putting myself in a position, because sometimes you got to put yourself in a position to where you're jumping ahead of the pecking order. And you do that by giving out valuable content that your target market is interested in. Like, for instance, these videos. You know, you see me doing a Facebook Live every day. You know, those people who are doing this or who are putting out valuable content every single day, those people are building, you know, not only are they just putting out content, but they're building their leadership. They're increasing on their leadership level, because we're teaching people, we're helping people get to a different level, and we're influencing people. So there you have it. I hope you guys got some value out of this video. If you did, like, comment, share, subscribe. And if you would like to be part of my email newsletter list, make sure you inbox me, and I'll be glad to send that on over to you guys. I do a newsletter every day. That's part of my Freedom Run, my 90-day blitz. And like I said, I hope you guys got value out of this video. I'm very, very, very happy to deliver this crucial information to you, because like I said, me learning these levels of leadership have definitely opened my eyes to some mistakes that I made, especially like being in just the position level. And I don't want to just be in a position level anymore. And something else that's a separate little nugget that John Maxwell talks about in his book is that anytime you change your circle, you basically you're starting over your leadership level again. You know, so I've done that before. You know, I had a nice little leadership level going in the company, and I changed companies and I had to start all over again. So, I mean, and who else better to give that type of wisdom than John Maxwell, man, who's trained thousands of leaders, you know, probably hundreds of thousands of leaders on pretty much every continent and pretty much every country in the world. All right, so that's it. Hope you guys having a wonderful Tuesday. I will talk to you guys later. Bye-bye. Peace.